Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Explosive Hits Hexbug Battlebots. This is going to be the last voiceover episode. Every episode from this point on is going to show all the fights. Here is tonight's fight card. Now let's get started. If you remember this post showing SawBlaze's anti-horizontal configuration, this is what it was for. Nobody guessed they'd be fighting Ring of Fire. So, how did this configuration hold up? It fell off on the first hit. SawBlaze's front pieces always had a problem with staying on the bot. The first one I had would always lose them on the first hit. This second one was better at first, but after the fight with Monstrosity, now it doesn't take a lot to knock the forks off. So, SawBlaze was down to just one fork, and Ring of Fire was way ahead on damage. Then SawBlaze started to take control of the fight. Ring of Fire was delivering a lot of hits to SawBlaze, but eventually they got stuck in the screws. SawBlaze got underneath them and chopped off their front wedge and then freed them from the screws. Now SawBlaze could easily get under Ring of Fire when they charged at them. They only pinned Ring of Fire once, but they were still pushing Ring of Fire around for the rest of the fight. At one point, the bots got stuck and had to be separated. When they were freed, SawBlaze bullied Ring of Fire in the corner for the rest of the fight. The winner by a close, unanimous decision was SawBlaze. Both bots are now 2-1. Next, we got Death Twister versus Huge. Gonna be honest, both of these bots are probably gonna miss out on the tournament. The loser will end up 0-3, which makes it pretty much impossible to get in the top 16, and the winner will be 1-2 with a win over an 0-3 bot. Considering how many other bots have more impressive records, they probably won't get in either. But you never know, some opportunity could come up at the end of the season. I don't remember what happened at the start of this fight, but somehow Hughes lost the back attachment, flopped around by the screws, and got stuck on the side of their wheel. They couldn't start moving again and got counted out. Over the course of this season, I realized that neither of these bots have very good designs. This next fight, Terabyte vs Minotaur, was supposed to be a highlighted fight. It was extremely boring. Neither bot had a very powerful weapon. I don't remember much of what happened, or even if any bots lost pieces. I do know that at the end, Terabyte got stuck on the screws, couldn't move, and got counted down. Now Minotaur has 2 wins. Then there was Rotator versus Black Dragon. Black Dragon had his drive issue again, but they still did a good job keeping their front pointed towards Rotator. I think Rotator lost all of its pieces, but I'm not sure. I know they lost some of them, and they lost the top blade. Black Dragon lost the back piece, not sure about the front wedge though. Even though Black Dragon was ahead on damage, they spent most of the fight spinning in the middle of the arena with Rotator charging at them. Rotator ended up winning by unanimous decision because of this. Next, we have this episode's sub-main event, Riptide versus Tombstone II. For this fight, Tombstone II had a brand new weapon motor. Their blades spun a lot faster and would not get stuck if it got stopped for a while. They were using the big gray blade for this fight. Now, I know what you're thinking. There were probably some great weapon-to-weapon collisions in this fight. But surprisingly, that didn't happen. Neither bot really sent the other flying at all, though it was a good fight nonetheless. It was mostly even, but Riptide was usually the one charging at Tombstone II and controlling the fight. Then, both bots' weapons were at full speed, they collided, and Riptide shut off from the impact. Since their blue light turned off, I knew the whole bot turned off, so I declared it an instant knockout. Tombstone II is now 2-1, and Riptide is 1-2. Okay, now we've got Witch Doctor 2 versus Superscoop. This match was very important for these two bots. Both were 1-1, and the loser probably wouldn't make the tournament. The goals of this fight were simple. For Witch Doctor 2, attack Superscoop and avoid the flipper for 3 minutes. For Superscoop, flip Witch Doctor 2 before 3 minutes passed. It was only about 30 seconds before Witch Doctor 2 got flipped upside down. Superscoop tried flipping them back right side up many times, but none of their attempts worked. I started 5 different countdowns during this fight, and the 5th one reached 0 and declared Superscoop the winner. Witch Doctor 2 finishes the season 1-2, which is surprising considering they were a semi-finalist last year. The last fight before the main event was Tangerine versus Warhead. If Tangerine wins this, they'll probably get in the tournament with their 2-1 record. If Warhead wins this, both bots will be 1-2, and I'm not sure if they'd get in. I mean, considering their background and the fact that they lost to Minotaur, they probably won't get in, especially considering all the 2-1 bots in the competition. And since Warhead will be considered over Tangerine if they win, I don't think either bot will make the tournament if Warhead wins. Warhead was using the gray disc for this fight, the one they used in the New Year's Eve tournament. They started off the fight by crashing into the walls a lot. Tangerine had to chase after them for a bit. For some reason, the gray blade worked really well for Warhead. They put a dent in Tangerine's wedge and then removed a turret. It became much harder for Tangerine to pin Warhead now. They kept fighting until Warhead removed Tangerine's other turret. They seem to be really good at that. They hit the opponent, get their disc spinner stuck on the turret, and then drive away to remove the turret. So this was an instant knockout win for Warhead, and also Warhead's first win in explosive hits. Is that enough to redeem them for their bad start to the season and get them in the top 16? You'll find out at the end of this episode. And now, time for the main event, Monstrosity versus Bronco. This fight was incredibly hyped up between Driver 2 and I. First, the winner of this is almost definitely going to be the #1 seed in the tournament. Second, Monstrosity is my favorite bot, and Bronco is his favorite bot. Bronco and Monstrosity have only fought 2 times before on this channel. The first time was in Monstrosity's introduction video, and the second time was in the New Year's Eve tournament. The record between them is currently 1-1, so this battle would settle the score and determine who really is the better bot. The #1 seed and bragging rights were on the line. It was also going to be nice to make the last fight of the qualifying round be a fight between 2 elite bots. This fight was very suspenseful. Most fights with a flipper are suspenseful. If the opponent can't self-right, the flipper has the capability to knock them out in a single shot. And Monstrosity may be a very powerful bot, but they're very easy to get under and can't self-right. At the start of the fight, Monstrosity was being very cautious. They would rush at Bronco, then drive backwards as soon as they delivered a shot. This continued for quite a while before Bronco landed a flip. When they did land their first flip, it didn't get their opponent upside down. In fact, none of their flips got Monstrosity upside down. The fight continued at this pace for 3 minutes. Monstrosity hitting Bronco and being very careful not to get near the flipper, and Bronco only landing a few flips that didn't flip Monstrosity upside down. So, Monstrosity ended up winning that by unanimous decision. They're probably going to get the #1 seed now. Also, this means that Whiplash and Monstrosity are the only bots who went 3-0 this season. Okay, now the qualifying fights are all done, and it's time to reveal the top 16. I know you didn't see all of the fights, but I hope this is still an exciting moment. So, here is the list of the bots who made the tournament. White Force, Black Devil, Blue Rotato, Bronco, Duck, Monstrosity, Ring of Fire, SawBlaze, Superscoop, The Claw, Whiplash. Now, you may be wondering why I haven't listed the seeds, and you may also be wondering why I stopped before saying 16 names. And the answer to both of those is, I couldn't decide on a bracket. Look at this. There are so many 2-1 bots that some would have to be left out to make the top 16. That seems a little unfair. So, there was going to be an extra explosive hits episode showing 5 play-in matches. The winners get to be in the top 16. The losers are out for good. I won't reveal these competitors completely, but can you guess who these shadows represent? And because of the time when I realized I needed this episode, I had to shove it in somewhere without extending the date the final will premiere. So, you won't have to wait a week for it. It'll be in between this episode and the first tournament episode. Come back to this channel on Tuesday, December 13th to see the last 5 fights of the qualifying rounds and the round of 16 bracket get revealed.